welcome in everyone to another Phillips alum highlight. Today we are highlighting Kelley. So if you could just, kind of walk us through your journey through Phillips and what you're currently doing.
Oh, I'd be happy to. So I graduated from Phillips in 2014 after being there about 3 years. I was a distant student at the time. I lived in central Illinois. And so I was one of those students that did most of my courses online, but then came to campus periodically, usually summertime and two other times a year, and did coursework in person. A point of note, I was one of the very first Hebrew language distance learners, and that was back
Oh.
in the day when Dr. Davison was like writing on the whiteboard, and uh, we were trying to make it so that um, there was me and I think one other person trying to make it so that we could see the whiteboard, but of course there was always this weird reflection on it. And then there was a point at which we couldn't see her properly if she was wearing certain clothes. So she had to plan her wardrobe around whether or not we had class that day. Um, and so technology, all of that to say, technology has come a long, long way. Um, but I had a wonderful experience at Phillips. I It was more than I ever thought it would be. Not only did I get a great education that prepared me for leadership, but I also made lifelong friends that are now not only my friends, but their colleagues. And I did not expect that. I think I thought because I was primarily a distance learner that it would be more of just me experience, but it wasn't. At my very first class at seminary, I met a colleague, and he and I we were friends from the moment we met, and we have been good friends ever since. And that has been true of a lot of the people that I went to seminary with, and that has been a gift I did not expect. And also, testament to Phillips and the way that they work so hard to create community in diverse spaces. And
Mm.
so I'm really, really grateful for that, really grateful for the education that I got. Uh, when I graduated from Phillips, I was the associate minister of First Christian Church in Bloomington, Illinois. And I did that for 3 years. And then I moved to Oklahoma. And one of the reasons I moved to Oklahoma was that I wanted to be close to the seminary. Um, Not only the people at the seminary, but the library at the seminary. And so I have enjoyed using that. In fact, I have some of y'all's books sitting on my desk right now. Um,
Yeah.
so I am the senior minister of Disciples Christian Church in Bartlesville, which is about 40 minutes north of Tulsa. And our associate minister is Reverend Anna Hubbard. She's also a Phillips alum. And Anna and I went to seminary together, and we talked often about how cool it would be if someday we could work together. And when the opportunity presented itself, we were both thrilled. And so Anna has been the associate here. I've been here 9 years. She's been the associate for 5 years. And we are having a great time, and wonder sometimes how it is that we got so lucky to have so much fun while we work and to get paid
Oh,
for doing what we love.
oh, that's so
So
nice.
that's
Oh,
me.
yeah. And so what was your track? What did you end up graduating with from Phillips?
I have a master's of divinity.
Master's of Any. Okay, okay, another Master's of Any student. Oh, wow, how neat to
Yeah.
go to school with someone and then be able to work together. Oh,
Yeah, I got that gift twice. In fact, when shortly after I got here, our youth minister left. And so we called Josh Linton, who is also a Phillips alum,
mhm.
to be the youth minister here. And he was here for, I don't know, a year or two. Um, and we really loved working together too.
That
So,
was
so yeah, I've been really, really lucky. I've gotten to work with people that I went to seminary with that I love and respect, and that we used to stay up late at night and debate theology and talk about what a privilege it was to be able to do that.
during your, your experience, within the classroom, are there, like, any moments or teachings that have really stuck with you in your practice now?
Mm. So I think I would say, first of all, Dr. Davison uh, spent a lot of time talking to us about what hospitality is in the Hebrew Bible and how important hospitality is to the Jewish tradition and therefore the Christian tradition. And I have never forgotten that. I've never forgotten um, how important it is for us to learn how to welcome people well. I serve the only open and affirming church in Bartlesville. And we are always, one of the things that we're constantly asking ourselves is who is being left out? Who can we include? And so we are always doing a new thing, trying to include new people. And that is something I learned at Phillips. I mean, not only from Dr. Davison, but from other professors and from the culture at Phillips that I experienced to be really, really welcoming. Um, and I mean, I had a lot of really, really wonderful moments in class in systematic theology. No, in constructive theology. I had Joe Bessler, and I really, really learned a lot about um, how believing one thing impacts all of your beliefs. And so, what you believe about God impacts what you believe about human beings and what you believe about sin, um, and so I've kind of described that to people as a house of cards. Once you pull something out and start toying with it, um, there are other things that need attention as well. And so um, I mean, I so many moments where I learned from peers and was shown grace in ways that I didn't expect, and so many jokes that we remember of weird things that happened, and so I have nothing but positive, wonderful memories of my time at Phillips.
Mm, wow. And that moment when, they call your name and, you walk on stage and you get, your everything that you've worked for is right there in your hands. You're transformed by these moments, especially when you've graduated. Is there anything that kind of like stuck out to you as far as like, you know, embracing, the next chapter, in your life? If you kind of think back to that moment, like what were your initial like feelings and thoughts about this new chapter?
Um, so I talked about this. I gave a speech after I got an award at Phillips a few weeks ago, and the one thing that has always stuck with me is that when I was at Phillips, the tagline was Phillips Theological Seminary, where faith leads. And I remember thinking when I graduated, I remember thinking, well, okay, this is it. Like, they've prepared me to be a leader, and so I need to lead. And and I remember thinking, in the first, weeks after graduating, um, I remember just sort of learning that you don't like they can't possibly teach you everything that you need to know about, in my case, I'm a congregational minister. They can't possibly teach you everything that you need to know because, every day's different and you can't be prepared for everything. But what they did teach me was how to think about things and to prioritize what's most important. And what they taught me is that the most important thing is people and relationships.
Mm.
And so when stuff comes along that I don't know what to do with, I I remember that and I think, well, okay, the most important thing here is people, and the person right here in front of me is the most important thing right now.
Mhm.
And that has helped me because ministry can be overwhelming sometimes. It's a 24/7 job, and it'll wear you out if you let it.
Mm. For people who may be looking at this interview and they're, on the fence on whether or not Phillips is the right choice, I don't know how they could listen to this and not think that, but I'm biased. So, so what are maybe some parting words of advice or encouragement that you can give the people who are still, wondering if Phillips is for them?
Mhm. Well, I would say I don't regret for a moment going to Phillips, and I was aware of the other seminary options. There were seminaries closer to where I lived at the time, but the ministers that I admired most in my life came from Phillips. The church I stumbled back into as a young adult, the senior minister was a Phillips graduate. Um, One of the ministers I admire more than anybody else in the whole world, he has since died, but he was a Phillips guy. And so, that's how I found my way to Phillips. And it was an amazing experience with amazing faculty and staff who just bend over backwards to make sure that students have a good experience and that students are well prepared regardless of how they choose to use their education, whether it's in nonprofit or church work or in the business world. Or I felt very, very well prepared, and I know that the colleagues that I'm in relationship with from Phillips would say the same thing. Um, And it's great. I mean, and now with the Bedford house, like that changes everything.
Oh,
Because when
yeah.
I went to Phillips, I stayed with a friend of a friend every time I came down, and they were wonderful to me. And it was amazing. But how cool would it have been to get to stay in the same place with the people that I was going to class with and to be able to have those late night conversations at the Bedford house instead of a bar? Um, and so, yeah, it's an amazing place, and especially if you're a disciple student, you can't beat the price.
Mm, yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're thinking about going to Phillips, do it.
I love that. Well, we appreciate you sharing your story with us, of course. And look forward to continuing to see what you do and many of our other, alum that are just fantastic. So I
Mm.
appreciate your
Well,
time.
thank you for your time and for your service to the seminary.